Hey guys, this is Abhishek from GadgetStudios.com, and today we are going to do the quick unboxing and full review of Samsung Galaxy Grand 2. Samsung Galaxy Grand 2 is an upgrade over the Grand which was launched last year from Samsung, and this device has been upgraded not only in terms of the display size but in terms of the hardware specs as well. And the Grand 2 is definitely a much better upgrade, or you can say a much better version of Grand device basically from the previous version. So the Grand 2 in terms of overall specification is better, and also in terms of the display size it is better. The display resolution has also been enhanced, so there are different changes which have been done onto this device, and we will talk about that in detail. This is how the package look like, and again I have been using this device for quite a long time now, and I have already opened the package previously, so this is an unboxing which I'm doing for you exactly. So this is how the package look like. If you take a look over the package, at the back side you have the specifications mentioned, and it has support for 3G up to 21 Mbps of speed will be supported in download, whereas in upload it will be supporting around 5.76 Mbps of speed, and these are the frequency bands which will be supported on 3G. You have the edge support band as well for GPRS and edge. You have 1.2 GHz quad-core processor on this device which comes from Qualcomm, and we will tell you the details about that as well. You have got a high definition TFT display, and then we have 8 megapixel autofocus camera with LED flash at the back side, whereas the front camera is not autofocus, fixed focus, but it can record high definition video at 720p, whereas it is 1.9 megapixel fixed focus camera. The battery on this device is 2600 mAh, and these are some of the ratings. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth as well. Bluetooth 4.0 is there. The model number of this device is SM G7102, as you can see. And again, this package also from Samsung is made up of recycled paper, so looks good. And one more thing I would like to point here is that with the Samsung Galaxy Grand 2, Samsung is promoting this feature which is now available on all the Samsung phones, the major Samsung phones, the premium ones, where it supports all these Indian languages. So there is Indian languages support, 11 Indian languages are support, and these are all the languages which you can take a look. All these languages are supported in the browser, and you do have the option of installing a keyboard as well onto this device so that you can type in these language as well. So this is how the package looks like, and once we open the package, this is the device which we have. So the first thing which we get in the package is the Samsung Galaxy Grand 2. This device definitely looks good, and there is a difference in terms of the overall look and feel, I would say. Although from a distance it looks like the Samsung Galaxy Grand, the earlier Samsung Galaxy Grand, but so in terms of the design we do not see much changes in this device. But when it comes to the backside is different in this case. Backside, as we see on the premium phones which are coming up these days from Samsung, has a kind of a fox leather, or you can say a plastic material with a leather finish. Although it is not pure leather, it is just a good quality of plastic which they have used on this phone, and it gives you a kind of a finish which looks like leather, but once you feel it, once you actually have your finger on it, you will feel that it is actually not leather. It is some good quality of plastic which with some nice finishing, and they have also given this design on the edges or on the corners basically, which looks like a thread, although it is not a thread. It is again a kind of a plastic design which they have put. So in terms of the look and feel, it may look like leather, but again in reality it is not leather, and it does not feel like actual leather. And when it comes to the edges, we have the chrome grill, as you can see, which is again a plastic material. It is not metal, and we can confirm that this is not metal. This is some other good quality of plastic, but again this gives this device a kind of a premium look. So we will take a look over the device later on. Let's take a look what we have in the package. So apart from the device, we get some user manuals for this device, the quick start guide, the warranty card, the SAR certification information, and these are the SAR values for this device, that is 0.577 weight per kg. And then you have the important customer information, the disposal guide for this device. These are some extra earbuds which come within the package for different ear sizes, and this is how the headphone look like. And let me just show you the headphones as well. So here we have the in-ear headphones which come within the package, and you do get some extra earbuds as well. And if we take a look over the lead is gold plated, looks good. And you have a module over here with a mic and a button to pick the calls, although you do not have volume controls on this particular module on these headphones. And again, these headphones are definitely much better headphones as compared to the some other budget Android phones which you might have seen. So this is how the audio cable look like, a standard micro USB to USB audio micro USB USB data transfer cable. And here we have the charger. So when it comes to the charger, it comes with a 1 ampere output charger, as you can see, and it is not the 2 ampere charger which we get on Note 2 or Note 3. And these are all the things which we get in the package. So let's take a look over the device now. Now here we have the Samsung Galaxy Grand 2. This device, in terms of the specification, if we start talking about, when it comes to the thickness, it has 8.9mm of thickness, which is again fairly good, and it does make this device look thinner, as you can see. And the back cover, which is kind of leather finish, not leather, also gives you a nice grip when you hold the device in one hand, because it has a nice texturized design at the back side, which is matte in terms of the finish. So it gives you a nice grip when you hold the device in one hand. It won't slip out of your hand, and it is again not very thick in terms of the thickness. When we talk about the weight is slightly on the higher side on this device. This device weighs around 163 gram, which is again fairly okay for a phone of this size. The display size on this device has been increased. It has got a 5.2 inch of display diagonal, and when we talk about the resolution of the display, it has got a 720 into 1280 resolution display. Gives you around 280 pixels per inch as far as the pixel density is concerned on this display. And again, when we talk about the display on this device is a TFT display. It is not an IPS panel, but still the viewing angles look pretty good on this device when you view the screen from extreme angles. Although you will notice some amount of color fading which will happen when you look at it from the extreme angles. Talking about the form factor of this device, the form factor of the device is pretty good. I would say the weight is slightly higher, but again, you will get used to it once you start using this device. When we talk about the thickness is also pretty slim, so you can easily put this phone inside your jeans pocket without any issues. So thickness is not an issue. When we talk about the weight is a little bit higher, but again, that's okay. You can get used to it. When we talk about the ports and connectivity, let me just take a look over the phone closely. So on the front, at the bottom, we have the touch capacitive buttons on the left and on the right, and they will light up whenever you use them. You have a single home button at the bottom, just like the other Samsung phones. Here we have the nice metallic earpiece. We have the proximity and ambient light sensors over here, and we have the front camera, which is a 1.9 megapixel camera, and this is a dual SIM phone, just like the Grand 2 is also dual SIM. When we talk about the volume rocker, this is how the volume rocker looks like. It is a plastic button, gives you good amount of feedback. Over here we have a power and sleep key. On the top we have the 3.5mm audio jack. Here we have nothing apart from this. At the bottom we have the micro USB port for data syncing and charging, and we have a primary mic hole over here. When it comes to the secondary mic, I am not able to locate a secondary mic, but there should be a secondary mic, and we will confirm that later on. We have the 8 megapixel camera with metallic ring, and we have the single LED flash, quite big. We have the loudspeaker over here on the right hand side of the camera. We have the Samsung branding over here. And the phone, in terms of the overall look and feel, does not look very different from any other Samsung phone which you might have seen earlier. But again, it is pretty good in terms of the overall look and feel, and it looks premium with this back leather finish kind of a cover, and this chrome grille also gives it a premium look. Taking a look over the lock screen, again the lock screen is very much the same which we have seen on the other Samsung phones. It is running the TouchWiz UI on top of Android, which is again pretty good in terms of the overall transition. I would say it is not laggy, but it might become laggy after some time of your usage, but again you cannot compare it with Grand. It is much better than the Grand as far as the overall performance is concerned, as far as this device is compared with the Grand. So when we talk about the home screen, we have like 5 home screen, and again you can increase the home screens up to 7, so you can have maximum 7 home screen on this device. When we take a look over the notification center is just like any other Samsung phone, the TouchWiz UI notification center, but it does give you a lot of options and all the toggles are here. Let's go into the settings and take a look what version of Android which we are running on this device. So this device is running Android 4.3, as you can see. So normally, as of now, if we take a look over the other devices of this particular price segment, we see Android 4.2 running on those devices, whereas this one is running Android 4.3. And again, Samsung has promised that they will also push the Android 4.4 as well onto this device, although we do not have any time details when it will come on this device, but it will come for sure for Samsung Galaxy Grand 2. That is something which they have promised. Now taking a look over the storage, this device has 8 GB of internal storage, and let me just show you how much of that is actually available. So when we talk about 8 GB of internal storage, the actual available memory is around 5 GB, which is available to the user, and out of which some of that we have already used because we have installed couple of applications and games. And when it comes to the available memory, as of now it is 4.23 GB, whereas the system memory or the operating system is taking around 2.83 GB out of 8 GB of storage, so which is pretty high. So the overall storage when it comes to the operating system on this device is pretty high, maybe because of the TouchWiz UI, I would say. When we talk about other things, let's take a look over the display scenario as of now. Now taking a look over the display, when we have the brightness setting, we do have support for automatic brightness because of the ambient light sensor over here. We do have some different options, and there are some additional options like Daydream, which is supported on this device. You can also display the battery percentage in the status bar. So these are all the settings which are available on this device. You can also adjust the screen timeout. You also have a power saving mode on this device. So once you go into the power saving mode and once you enable it, it will limit the CPU in terms of the overall performance, which will actually save the overall battery on this device, and it will also control the display in such a way that you get more battery backup on this device once you have this option checked. Now talking about the RAM, this device has not 1 GB of RAM but 1.5 GB of RAM, and as of now if we take a look, out of 1.5 GB of RAM, 714 MB of RAM is used, whereas you get around 664 MB of RAM which is free. And the device is responsive, and we can do a large number of tasks on this device without noticing any kind of lag either on the home screen or while switching in between applications, so which is pretty good on this device. So if the device is not running too much applications in the background, this will give you good performance. Even when you are running too much applications in the background, the device will be kind of smooth enough in terms of the overall transitions. So when we talk about tethering, we do have support for Wi-Fi tethering. That means you can create a portable Wi-Fi hotspot on this device to share the 3G internet with the SIM card. And when it comes to USB tethering is also supported, and you do have support for Bluetooth tethering as well. So let me just show you the phone from the back side. So once we remove the back cover by this indent, we have the battery. The battery on this device is 2600 mAh, as you can see. And once we remove the battery, we can actually insert the SIM card into this device. So the SIM card one will go over here at the bottom. On the top you have the slot for the micro SD memory card to expand the storage of this device. And when we talk about the micro SD card support, you do not have support for installing applications directly on the micro SD card, and the inbuilt storage on this device is around 4 GB or around 5 GB, which is available to the user. So in case that storage is finished, you won't be able to actually install applications from the on the micro SD memory card using that as a default storage device, but you can move certain applications from the phone memory to the micro SD card. That is supported, and micro SD card will go over here, whereas the SIM card one will go over here, which should be a micro SIM. When we talk about the second SIM slot is also a micro SIM, and it will go over here. And both of these are not hot swappable, so you cannot remove them without removing the battery on this device. Here we have the loudspeaker, the camera, and the LED flash. Taking a look over the applications which come pre-installed, you have large number of applications which will come pre-installed, and some of these applications are part of TouchWiz UI. You have a video application where you will be able to see what all videos are there on this device, and you will also be able to see a live preview of those videos. You have Samsung Hub, you have music player on this device. Let me just show you the view of the music player as well. So this is how the music player will look like, as you can see, which does give you large number of options. You can switch in between different tracks. You can actually take a look over the other songs which you have on the device. When it comes to other applications, you have chat on, you have Samsung apps, you have Google applications also come pre-installed. These are all the Google applications which you get pre-installed, and again they have categorized it in the nice way by putting them into a separate folder. You have Galaxy Plus folder where you have Dropbox, Flipboard and TripAdvisor. These are some third-party applications which will come pre-installed. You have voice recorder, the default stock browser, again not the stock browser but Samsung TouchWiz UI browser. You have Samsung Link supported on this device. You have S-Voice support as well. You get FM radio, and you have the support for downloading files onto the browser on this device. You also get voice recorder and calculator, and file explorer is also there. So let's check out whether this device has OTG support or not. So once we connect a flash drive like this with the help of an OTG cable, let's see whether this device supports that or not, so that you can actually watch the videos on this device on the go using a flash drive. So once we connect a flash drive like this, it has not detected the same. Let me just try connecting it again. So we have connected the flash drive and there is no notification as of now for this flash drive. So it looks like the OTG or on-the-go USB feature is not supported on this device. Let me just try once again. So we can confirm that the OTG is not supported on this device, and you cannot read the contents on a flash drive like this with the help of an OTG cable. This is how the camera UI look like. You do have autofocus, and tap to focus is also supported within the camera UI. This camera UI is again inherited from the other Samsung phone which we have seen earlier, like Samsung Galaxy S4, Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and others. When we talk about different photo modes which we have on this device, we have auto mode, beauty face mode, best photo mode. Continuous shot is also supported, so that you can take burst shot or multiple photos within a span of time. You have best face shot. Sound and shot is also supported, so that you can record audio as well with the picture which you are taking. You have HDR mode supported, panorama is also supported, your sports mode, night mode, and then we have the auto mode again. So when we go into the auto mode, and if we take a look over the settings, these are all the settings which we have. When it comes to the photo size, this is the photo size which we have configured. For the wide photo size is 16 megapixel, whereas the 8 megapixel is going to be 4:3 aspect ratio, whereas the 6 megapixel photo which you will be able to take by default on this device will be 16:9. When we talk about face detection, you do have face detection as well. You have different metering modes, different metering methods, basically center weighted or others. You have the video size. You can record high definition video at 720p as well as at 1080p from the rear camera. When it comes to the front, we will just show you the settings as well, and this is how the other settings looks like. You have the option of controlling the exposure value. You can actually take photos with the help of voice as well. You can also use volume rocker in case you want to take photos with the help of volume button. Basically, you can toggle to the front camera like this, although we do not see any support as of now on this device of using both the front camera as well as the rear camera. And this is how the view will look like from the front camera. The front camera is capable of giving a good video stream whenever you do a high definition video chat. It looks good, at least. And however, the amount of details which I can notice in this particular feed is not too good, but pretty okay. And when we talk about the video settings for the front camera, let me just show you the video settings. So the front camera is capable of recording high definition video as well as at 720p basically. When we talk about the photo size is going to be 1.9 megapixel or 0.9 megapixel, which you can capture from the front camera, so pretty good for selfies. Let me just show you a photo and we have taken the photo of this iPhone in low light as well as with some artificial light. So this is the photo which we have taken in low light without any extra light. We have taken this photo, and the amount of details which I can see in this photo is definitely not too good. However, the overall color reproduction is pretty okay, I would say, not too good again. When we talk about this photo in which we have some artificial light falling on this object, the amount of details is now better, much better than the previous one, and the color reproduction is also good on this device when we take a photo. So in terms of the overall camera quality, this device performs pretty good in daylight, whereas in low light, if you have good amount of light, you can get very good photos on this device like this one, in which you have good amount of details and you will have good reproduction of colors as well. Now here we have the phone dialer, and phone dialer is again the same which we see on the TouchWiz UI on other phone of Samsung. We have the option of making a video call directly from the phone dialer, which is a pretty good thing. Here we have the messaging application on this device. Messaging application is again customized in terms of the overall look and feel. You have the option of attaching the photos as well, and again when you have the dual SIM card onto this device, you have the option of sending the message with any of those two SIM cards basically. And this is how the keyboard look like when it comes to continuous input. The continuous input seems not to be supported in this device, and we will just confirm that within some time. When we talk about the keyboard keys are pretty big, not pretty big in size again, but they are quite nicely spaced out from each other. So when it comes to typing, you will not face any problem, and you will not accidentally press any other key unintentionally when you type on this device. So typing is not a problem on this big display phone, so there is no issue with the keyboard. And also you have numpad or all the numbers basically on the top of the keyboard, which does make the typing pretty easy task on this device. So I would like to say that this device is pretty good in terms of the overall typing experience which you can have. You do have different options when it comes to the typing. You have auto replacement, which you can turn on and turn off, auto capitalization, and then we have auto spacing, punctuate. Continuous input is actually supported, but by default it is not enabled. So once you enable it, you do have swipe to type supported on this device, and it will give you all these suggestions as well, which is a good thing. So in terms of the overall interface as far as messaging is concerned, the keyboard is pretty good. And again, if you face any problem with this keyboard, you can always type in the landscape mode as well. Now here we have the browser, and we have loaded our website onto this browser, as you can see. So the browser is pretty good, although it is not the stock Android browser. It is the TouchWiz UI browser which we have on this device. You do have support for tab browsing, so you can open multiple tabs, and the overall interface is also pretty good in terms of animations. It does give you a kind of a full screen browsing experience. You do have pinch to zoom, which is again pretty fluid on this device. There is no issue at all. When it comes to double tap to zoom is also supported, but it is not too in-depth basically. When you do it, it is just a normal zoom. It does not make much of a difference. When we talk about panning is also supported. When it comes to the rendering of the text is quite crisp and clear on this display, and the overall pixel density of the display is also pretty good. So in case you are reading a document which has large amount of text in it, it won't be an issue to read that document on this device. So, and when it comes to playing YouTube videos, you can play YouTube videos within the web page onto this browser without opening YouTube application for the same. Now taking a look over the hardware information which we have on this device, the processor is ARM V7 processor, clocked at 1.1 gigahertz, you can say approximately. You have a quad core processor, or you can also say it is a 1.2 gigahertz quad core processor. The cores are 4, and then we have the Qualcomm MSM 8226, which is the chipset on this device. And when we take a look over the display resolution, the display resolution is 720x1280, and then we have Adreno 305 GPU on this device. And the sensors which are there on this device is the accelerometer sensor, magnetic sensor is also there. You have proximity, light, auto rotation and orientation sensor as well on this device. Here we have got the score on quadrant standard for this device. The total score for this device is 8170, which is an impressive score, I would say, as compared to the other devices which we have over here. It is above all other devices in terms of the overall score. And this is how the detailed score look like for this device. The CPU is 30205, the memory is 3343, input output operation is 4553, 2D is 350, and if we take a look over the score for the 3D, it is 2400. And the score which we have got for this device on Antutu is again better than the Grand which we have seen earlier. The score for this device is 16476, as you can see. If we take a look over the detailed score, this is how the detailed score look like for this device for UX, CPU, RAM and GPU and input and output operations. And when it comes to the comparison, let me just show you this device in comparison to the other devices. This is where the device ranks in between the Samsung Galaxy S2 and Google Nexus 4 in terms of the overall benchmark score. This position is again not too good but slightly okay for a device like this, which comes for a price of around 22 to 23,000 Indian rupees. But again, we actually expected a better score on this device as far as the Antutu score is concerned, but still the overall performance of the device is pretty good. If we ignore this benchmark score, the overall performance of this device is much better than Grand, and it is also much better than other devices which are there in the similar price segment. When we talk about Ninamark, this device has got one of the best score, or you can say best score, I would say, when it comes to the devices which is there available in this price segment. It has got 56.2 FPS, which is again a pretty good score, and this device is capable of handling heavy graphic intensive games like Modern Combat 4. Frontline Commando D-Day is also running on this device without any issues. When it comes to other heavy games like Nova 3, that can also be played on this device without any problem. So in terms of the overall gaming performance, this device is pretty good. You can also play casual games like Temple Run OZ. Subway Surfer we will test and let you know, but you can play Temple Run OZ on this device without any issues. On multi-touch scenario, it supports 5-point multi-touch. Now to show you the overall responsiveness of this device, we are playing this casual game called Temple Run OZ. In terms of the graphics, there is no lag which we can notice. The touchscreen is also pretty responsive. It is almost an instant response which we are getting from the touchscreen when we are playing this game. So in terms of graphics as well as the touchscreen response, this game is running pretty fine without any issues. There is no frame drops as well which we can notice as of now on this device while playing this game. And the sensors on the device are also working well, including the gravity sensor, as you can see. Now we are playing this game called Frontline Commando D-Day, and this is a kind of a medium graphic intensive game, so you can get an idea about the overall quality of gaming on this device. In terms of the overall response from the touchscreen, there is no lag of any kind. There is also no frame drops which we can notice while playing this game. So the overall gaming experience on this device till now is pretty smooth, I would say. There is no lag of any kind, and the touchscreen is also pretty responsive to the finger touch, and graphics are also loading fine on this device, as you can see. So you can play this game without any issues, without any kind of frame drops or any kind of graphic lag. Now when it comes to some other features which are supported, you do have support for multi-window as well, and you can bring the multi-window by pressing this key for like 2 to 3 seconds, and then it will bring the multi-window. And in this multi-window you can run multiple applications within the screen. So you can run 2 applications at the same time, and you can also run the same application again and again. So this way you can actually use the same application in 2 different windows. So this is how you can actually load different web pages within the browser application. So you have the support for same application in the multi-window from now on, or you can say in the latest TouchWiz UI you have support for that. And these are all the applications which are supported for the multi-window. If we take a look over the other settings on this device, as far as other features are concerned, you do have some proximity related features as well supported, and we have support for blocking mode, in which it will block the call, the messages and other notifications whenever you specify the device to be in the blocking mode. When it comes to easy mode, you do have easy mode supported as well. When it comes to some one-handed operation, you do have support for one-handed operation, so that you can actually adjust the screen from different, for almost anything on this device you can actually use this option. So you can shift the overall key in such a way, the overall display in such a way. For example, let me just do it for you. So in case you do it like this, you can actually do it. Wait, I do it from the home screen. So this is how you can actually do. So this is how you can actually make the complete home screen go small, and then you can use the device in case this device screen is little bit bigger for your one-handed usage. So one-handed usage of this kind is definitely a good thing which we have supported, and we have this feature supported on this device. So let's go back to the normal screen. You can also resize this, you can move this as well. So this is definitely a very handy feature which will come into usage pretty fine for people who have problem with big display phones. You have motion related features as well supported. Mute and pause can be done just by a flip of the phone whenever you are getting a call. You have some palm motion feature also supported, in which you can actually move your palm over the proximity sensor and you can mute the phone, or you can pause the video as well by whenever you are playing it. You do have capture screenshot supported, so you can capture a screenshot like this with the help of the palm motion features. And if we take a look over the other features, you do have smart screen also supported, in which we have smart stay, as per which if you are reading a web page within the browser, it will keep the display on and the display will not turn off till the time you are looking over the phone. And apart from this, you also have support for voice control on this device, so you can actually control the camera, music, alarm and incoming calls with the help of voice commands. Now here we have Subway Surfer, which is a casual game but little bit graphic intensive at times. As far as the touchscreen response is concerned, there is no problem with this device while playing this game. The touchscreen is pretty responsive to the finger touch, there is no issue, and graphic wise this game is running fine. The draw distance for the game is also pretty good, so there is no issue at all as far as the draw distance for this game is concerned when we play this game. And in terms of the overall graphic performance, it is working pretty well. There is no issue with this device while playing this game, as you can see. So as you can see, we are right now playing a YouTube video from our channel, and this is a high definition video which is being played at high definition resolution as well. When it comes to the viewing angles, let me just give you an idea. As far as viewing angles are concerned, viewing angles are pretty good on this device when we view it from right and left. From the vertical angles, it is good as well, but slight fading of color is actually happening. As far as the overall sound is concerned, let me just increase the volume to full. So as far as the overall loudness of the sound is concerned, the loudness of the sound which is coming out from the loudspeaker, which is at the back side over here, is pretty loud. I would say not the loudest which we have heard, but again it is loud enough. When we place the device like this on a table, the sound will get blocked and it will get muffled as well at times, but you still will be able to hear the sound which is coming out from this device. And as far as viewing angles is concerned, viewing angles are pretty good, but they are not the best on this device. That is something which we can say. As far as the overall sound quality is concerned, which comes out from the earpiece, it is pretty crisp and clear, and we did not notice any problem as far as the sound quality which came out from the earpiece on voice calls or while doing anything else on the phone. When it comes to the headphones which come within the phone package, these are the in-ear headphones. The overall sound quality from these headphones is pretty good, I would say, much better than the other budget Android phone headphones which we have seen, which are again in-ear headphones, but the sound quality is not that good. This one is slightly better, although the bass levels are pretty okay, but they are not too high when you hear the music from these headphones. But in terms of connectivity, these headphones are pretty good and the sound quality is definitely better. Now one thing which could have been there on this device is the notification light. There is no notification light on this device. It will not give you any kind of notification LED light. Basically, whenever there are missed calls or in case you get any messages on the device, you will have to check them manually. That is something which you need to do because you do not have any LED for notification or any notification light on this device. It does support GPS navigation as well with the help of assisted GPS. You do have magnetic sensor as well on this device for precise navigation. So again, the GPS navigation will work on this device, and we have used this device for navigation. It works perfectly fine. It will take like 1 or 2 minutes to log the GPS coordinates, and then it will work right away. As far as the overall battery backup is concerned, the overall battery backup from this device is pretty satisfactory, but again it will give you around 1 day of battery backup with this kind of battery and this kind of display which we have. The overall battery backup is not too good or not too great, I would say, but with moderate usage, which does not include a lot of gaming and which also does not include a lot of video watching on this device, you will get around 1 day of battery backup on this device. When it comes to the heavy user, if you watch a lot of videos or if you play a lot of games, then you will not get 1 day of battery backup from this device. That's all from us as far as the full hands-on review of the Samsung Galaxy Grand 2. We really like this device in terms of the overall form factor, the build quality, the hardware which we have on this device. The gaming performance of this device is also pretty good. The overall score of this device, or the overall impression from which we have actually got for this device, is much better than Grand. So it is definitely worth an upgrade if you are comparing it with Grand. Although it is slightly highly priced, I would say, for a price of around 22,000, it is rightly priced if you can get this device for a price of 20,000 rupees. However, it is available for a price of around 22 to 23,000 in the market. So do let us know if you have any specific question for this device. We would love to help you. You can like this video if this video helped you by clicking the like button below. You can subscribe to our YouTube video channel for more videos like this by clicking the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching this video. This is Abhishek signing off. Thank you.